Board of Education located at 307 Cross Pond Road, Little Lake Harbor, New Jersey, and faxed on January 8, 2018 to the Asbury Park Press, Atlantic City Press, Manahawkin newspapers, and Sandpaper, and to the Office of the Municipal Clerk of Little Lake Harbor. A meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Roll call.
Mr. Malone? Here. Mr. Dahlia? Here. Ms. Januzzi? Here. Dr. Gross? Here. Mrs. Palin?
Here.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Here.
Mr. Moncrief?
Here.
We are in session.
Okay, pledge of allegiance, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business, approval of the agenda. I recommend motion to approve the February 25th, 2019 agenda. Can I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions? No questions?
Roll call. Mr. Malone?
Yes.
Mr. Dahlia?
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi? Yes. Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Recommend motion to approve the following minutes, January 28th, 2019. Can I have a motion?
Second.
Any questions? Any questions?
Roll call. Mr. Malone?
Yes.
Mr. Dahlia?
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi? Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, move on to board presentations. First, we have Mrs. Trina Riggleman, Energy Specialist.
Thanks. Good evening. As you can see from the presentation up there, we, the Little Lake Harbor School District, is participating in a nationwide contest. We are collecting bags and any kind of plastic wrapping. As you can also see, we've now got 1,701 pounds for the entire district, which is, if you've never seen that much, please come and go up into our hallway. You'll see a lot of plastic. The reason we're doing it is, of course, it's a contest and everybody's getting involved, but the biggest reason is we're keeping plastic bags off the streets and out of the ocean, and the kids are so involved, the kids, the staff, everyone is so involved in this, that I've decided that what we're going to do is some people can't get into school during the week. So one Saturday a month, I will be at the George Mitchell School from 10 to 12, and you can come and drop off your plastics. And in the beginning, at least, the township has given me, they're giving out bags to people that deliver plastic to them. I'm going to be giving out the same bags. So please come along and be part of this fantastic program that we're doing here. I think that's it. Take a look at the website because the rest of the dates for the rest of the school year will be on that. It'll probably be on Facebook as well, so please come out and drop off your plastics, keep it out of the streets. The only other thing, and I think I still have about a minute left.
No.
I was given a time limit. We are also collecting markers. Any kind of markers, magic, highlighters, Sharpies, we collect them, and Crayola takes them back from us and makes them into fuel. So we're doing that as well. So any markers that you have at home that are dried up, send them in, and we'll get them to the Crayola company. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the presentation of the George Mitchell Volunteer of the Month. Ms. Jerry Nago. I apologize.
Jerry Canego, and she's standing. Thank you, Jerry. Come on down. I am proud to announce and to share with you our Mitchell School Volunteer of the Month is Jerry. She volunteers in Kim Cascone's classroom. Kim, say hi, and thank you for being here. Every Wednesday, and it's Kim shared with Mrs. Gonin and myself Jerry does a little bit of everything with our students. She helps with their reading work, she helps with their writing work, and maybe the most important thing, Kim, that you shared with me, that I'll share with everyone, is that she shares her compassion and kindness with all the students. So, big round of applause for Jerry. Did it work? Come do it over here. Come over here. Just in case.
Alright, next is the presentation of the Frog Pond Volunteer of the Month.
Is Karen Christopher here? Hi, Karen. Mr. Henderson is unable to attend tonight, but he wanted to share these words about Karen. Karen is a new volunteer to Frog Pond this year and comes in weekly to help in the library. She shelves books, helps with the book fair, and takes care of our hospital books by gluing and taping them back to health. Her warm, friendly manner and easygoing nature make her a perfect fit in our library. We truly value the time she spends here. Thank you, Karen. I'd like to be in it too. Yeah. I'll do what I did earlier, okay? You'll be happy. Congratulations.
Next, we have the George Mitchell School Update. Daisy, Bill, and Hayden Camp, third grade students.
My name is Katie Kim. And my name is Daisy Boy. On February 1st, the LEHSD visited our school. The LEHSD is a school-wide character education program that teaches students to be champions in our school in their own lives. The presenter taught us to never give up, encourage others, and do our best. On February 4th, the first grade classes visited the Count Basie Theater to see Can Tam and Miss Tam Tams. This performance helped the students experience other parts of the world using rhythm, song, and dance. It was a fun multicultural event and the students had a great time. Mr. Lawrence got us ready for the Kids Heart Challenge, formerly known as Jump Rope for Heart, with a high energy kickoff Sunday. Our foundation supporters continue to grow each day. We raised $11,000 by the end of the facility was guided and natural. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence, for all your hard work and organizing this fundraiser. Next Friday, March 1st, the second grade students will be hosting a Read Across America concert under the direction of Ms. Marshall at 9:30 a.m. Members of the Board of Education are welcome to attend and join in on the fun. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Next, we have the Frog Pond School Update. Cesar Zameno Vega.
Don't believe he's here.
We see him this week.
We'll move on to the presentation of Students of the Month at George Mitchell.
First up, Jack Favreau from Mrs. Glock and Miss Moscato's kindergarten class. Okay, maybe we'll come in a little later. I'll do that one last. Isabella Troisi from Miss Maloney's kindergarten class. Isabella comes into class each morning with a smile and ready to have a great day. She conquers each challenge with a positive attitude. She is helpful and kind to her friends and always makes Mrs. Maloney laugh. She is showing outstanding progress academically. She works hard in school, and I can tell she practices at home too. Keep up the great work, Bella. Demi Sweet from Mrs. Gratelli's first grade class. Demi is an honest, respectful, thoughtful, and positive student. She puts forth effort in all that she does and is a self-motivated worker. You can find Demi helping out friends in the classroom, being kind and considerate to all, being a strong leader in our room, asking for responsibilities in the classroom, and having a huge smile on her face. Demi is an all-around wonderful girl. Keep up the amazing work. Michael Petrell from Mrs. Fitzpatrick's second grade class. Michael walks into the classroom every day with a smile on his face. He is ready to work and learn. Michael's kind, caring, and friendly character makes him a role model for his classmates. He is always willing to help his classmates. Michael is an enthusiastic learner and he gives 100% effort in the classroom all the time. He exhibits a positive outlook and attitude in the classroom. Keep up the wonderful work. Leah Barchetto from Mrs. Gilly's third grade class. Leah is everything a great third grader should be. Leah is always listening and following the classroom rules. She is a hard worker and puts 100% effort every day. Her behavior is exceptional and her work habits are soaring high. Leah is kind and helpful to her classmates and teachers. Every morning, Leah helps the kindergartners in Mr. McAdams' class get ready for the day. Leah is the kind of person that others want to be around. I have been extremely lucky to have Leah in my classroom this year. Congratulations, Can Jack Barrow come in? No? Okay, I'll do a special presentation in his classroom for him tomorrow.
Picture?
Yep.
All right, what do you want to do? I got to come over here. You're going to stay with Mrs. Guy, one of our board members. Back up.
Tonight.
Position. Doesn't have to be today.
Look this way. Can you look over here? This Good evening. I'm proud to announce Brock Pond Elementary School Student of the Month. From 4th grade, Rachel Herchak from Mrs. Hanson's classroom. Rachel is always a hard worker in the classroom. She strives to do her best in all academic subject areas. Rachel is conscientious, always working to the best learner she can be, while still being courteous and kind to her classmates. She has a great sense of humor and a go-with-the-flow attitude that makes her easy to get along with. Congratulations, Rachel. We have another 4th grade recipient, Cole Sona. Cole has shown great growth in his work ethic, abilities to use what he learns to further develop his skill set, frequently works with a positive attitude, and models stronger character traits for his classmates to model. He works well with his classmates and demonstrates good sportsmanship during social and group activities. When he leaves the classroom to work with other teachers, he has been hardworking and receptive to learning new skills and concepts. Keep up the good work, Cole. From Mr. McGettigan and Mrs. Sharkey's 5th grade classroom, Stephen Rodriguez. Since September, Stephen has consistently demonstrated his commitment to personal and academic growth. He is relentless in his efforts to understand and master concepts, especially in math. His concentration and participation in class naturally inspires his classmates, and as a result, they too have noticed his many accomplishments. Stephen beams with confidence as a result of his hard work and effort. He is a teacher's dream student. He is determined, yet patient. He has shown tremendous growth, yet looks forward to his next hurdle. He is humble, but is visibly delighted with praise. He is kind, compassionate, and helpful to his peers. It is a pleasure to have Stephen as a student. And from 6th grade, from Mrs. Gallagher's 6th grade classroom, Addison Schiller. Addison comes to school every day with a radiant smile, she has it right now, and hugs for everyone. Her positive outlook on life is contagious. She walks to the beat of her own drum, will never be influenced by peer pressure, and is a true upstander. Addison is a well-rounded student who is a model safety patrol member and participates in chorus and band. Keep being who you are, Addison. The 6th grade team loves you. Congratulations. Any other parents want to get this angle? Congratulations, you have wonderful children.
Okay, to the parents and the students of the month, if you wanted to make your escape now, grab some cookies on the way out. Otherwise, settle in for the rest of the meeting.
I'll take a quick picture with Bella. I'm sure she would too. Thanks for
You might have to add that. Thank you for doing that.
I'm just being well-behaved. You want to grab a cookie? Congratulations.
We'll have you next year as kindergarten.
You deserve it. Good job. He deserves it. Good girl.
Congratulations. What a pretty dress. Oh, it's gorgeous. Thank you.
Pretty smile. Addie.
You know, that's what you have on every day.
I'm glad to say
Okay, picking back up, we'll start with the report of the superintendent.
Great, thank you. Today we celebrated and announced our teachers and support staff people of the year. Unfortunately, a few were out, so they will be personally acknowledged tomorrow by the team. I know they were notified by phone call today. Our people of the year are as follows for the ECC. Our teacher of the year was Nicole Renzia. Our support staff member was Jennifer Solzman. Our maintenance person was Dave Cummings. At the Mitchell School, our teacher of the year was Pam Mason. Our support staff person was Tiffany Adams Darby, and our custodian was Renee Kennedy. And And at Frog Pond School, the Teacher of the Year was Jim Most, support staff was Sue Doka, and custodian was Tina Kanye. And at the administration building, our support staff person is Jen O'Brien. At the May 13th meeting, the Board of Education will be honoring and acknowledging our retirees, People of the Year, and Staff Years of Service Awards. We invite everyone to attend, and those being recognized are invited to bring their family. Just a quick reminder that we are celebrating Read Across America with Dr. Seuss this week.
Residents Forum, agenda items only at this time. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express that each statement made by a participant limited to 3 minutes as cited in policy number 167. The public may comment on any item in the agenda at this time. General public comment will occur later in the meeting. Are there any public comments? Looks like there's no comment. So we move on to the board work session.
Okay, we have a couple policies that are updated. If there's an M next to it, just a reminder to the board, those are mandated from the state. You were able to review those in advance. If you have any questions on those, you can ask them any questions on any of the policies. Budget and Finance, Mr. Brown will have his next meeting of the board committee on March 13th at 4 o'clock. Long-term substitute pay for our certificated teacher pay rate is currently $85 a day, and on the 21st day it goes to $92.50. We are recommending for this board agenda that the rate be increased to $150 per day beginning on day 1. And this is once again for our long-term sub positions. We feel that these teachers are, and that's what they are, they're teachers coming in, they're doing lesson plans. Oftentimes they're starting the year with students, they could be closing out the year with students, and we feel that they are worth more than what we're currently paying them. So we are recommending that we raise that rate to $150 a day. Next, we are also changing our replacement teacher. That's for a certified teacher who is coming in and replacing, let's say, for the first half or second half of the year, that they will be starting on a BA Step 1 per diem with no medical benefits up to 6 months. Mid-year review of goals. I handed out earlier a sheet that looks like this. So basically, this is just an update. We are about the mid-year point. These are my quantitative and qualitative goals for the year. I just cut and pasted those goals that were approved in August, and you'll see color-coded in red or blue all of the updates on them. In terms of our assessments, they have been administered, obviously, and we're going to be doing a mid-year review on the data of those assessments. So once we meet with the PLCs and the teachers, Mr. Ekapour and the principals have been meeting with the teachers in their PLCs to look at that data, see what it looks like, where we need to go from there. So that is currently taking place. In terms of the last goal, which is the social and emotional, you can see that a lot of work has been done on that. I'm going to send this document to you as a hyperlink because there was a lot of hyperlinks in the document. So those hyperlinks are presentations that were done, faculty meeting agendas, and you can see by the chart that not only has Mrs. Tresolino done a great deal of work with social and emotional learning in the classroom and for our faculty and staff, the principals have done as well. So all of that information is here for you. On the last page, if you can please just flip over, a subpart of that last goal was to look at the discrepancy in discipline between boys and girls. The top graph was last year, you can see 17-18, and this is 18-19 at the bottom. It still looks like there's a big discrepancy between girls and boys, but I want to point out the amount of discipline has changed significantly. So you can see at the top, there was almost 400 incidents in the school year, and now we're at about 220. So we are after the midway point, so we're hoping that that stays slow and steady. And you'll get an update at the end of the year on this. So if you look at the overall incidents that are being disciplined, it is down, but we still want to continue to look at that discrepancy of why boys are being disciplined more than girls in the classroom. Any questions on that? I will have an update, of course, at the end of the year on those goals. The next thing on our list is the district calendars. You were given in your update a revised calendar for this current school year, and following suit to what we're doing at Pinelands, what we're recommending to the board is a change in the 19th of April. So we would have students come in on that 19th, it would be an early dismissal day, and we would not have an early dismissal day on the 18th, and that would make up for the snow day. If for some reason it snows again, which we hope it doesn't, then we're not going to be doing that, and we would just add days on to the end of the school year. Any questions on that? And then the other piece is next year's calendar for the 19-20 school year. We did survey the staff. Just so you know, we surveyed the staff in both districts, and it was pretty much overwhelming that the teachers would like the week of teachers convention off. Oftentimes we've had that partially off, and what happens is a lot of teachers wind up asking, or staff members asking for the week off because they have kids in other school districts locally that have the week off, and it's really hard to find childcare. So we're proposing for next year that we take that entire week off. The other piece for next year to notice is in April, which is our spring break, we're going to build in snow days. So if it snows, that last day of spring break will be an early dismissal, and then we're going to work backwards. So first the 17th, and the 16th, and the 15th, if there's snow days before April. We also have a lot less early dismissal days next year. The only early dismissal dates we're proposing are parent-teacher conferences, 2 end of the year, and 1 before a holiday. But we are adding in our late arrivals, and that's when we're going to be doing some professional development for our staff. Any questions on the calendar? Okay. Another piece for information is we have to let the county know each year the configuration of our schools. So what I'm letting the board know now is what we're proposing for next year is to bring the 3rd grade back over to the Frog Pond School. The reason being is because our enrollment keeps rising so much that the Mitchell School is very crowded. So moving the 3rd grade over, obviously the 7th grade's going back over to Pinelands, and we'll have the space here for them. Any questions on that? Enrollment going up is definitely a good thing. And the last thing I have is the questions from the district website. I had one this month. Let me just bring that up. And basically, it was asking the board to seriously consider the placement of early dismissal days in the calendar, and I just went over that and how we're going to be working through that for next year. So we do have a lot less early dismissal days, and they are contractual. We have to do it for parent-teacher conferences once before a holiday, and then 2 are the last day of school. Okay, I think that's it for me. We have President's update.
Nothing really to update this time. I know we're working through the budget process, so thank you to those that are serving on the budget committee and assisting with that process and moving forward. Look forward to getting the state numbers and then wrapping that up. Moving on to finance items. Recommend motion to approve finance items A through N. Have a motion, please.
Motion. Second.
Any questions? No questions?
Roll call, Mr. Malone.
Yes.
Mr. Dowling.
Yes.
Mrs. Januzzi. Dr. Gross.
Yes.
Mrs. Palin.
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Facilities items. Recommend motion to approve facilities items A through C. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion. Second.
Any questions? No questions?
All right, roll call, Mr. Malone.
Yes.
Mr. Dowling.
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi. Dr. Gross.
Yes.
Mrs. Palin.
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Technology items. Recommend motion to approve technology item A.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any questions? No questions?
Mr. Malone.
Yes.
Mr. Dowling.
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi. Dr. Gross.
Yes.
Mrs. Palin.
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief.
Yes.
Motion carries.
New business. Recommend motion to amend the agenda and approve the following recommendations of the superintendent of schools. Approve 2 days without pay for Ms. Patricia Largy Ward, school nurse, George Mitchell, February 13th and 14th, I have a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? No questions?
Mr. Malone?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi? Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 16, informational items. Items were provided to you, shared in the folder for the board to access related to community school, correspondence from Mr. Cole, and financials from NutriServe. They're presented for your information and review. 17, personnel, recommend motion to approve personnel items 1 through 5. Is there a motion?
Second.
Any questions? No questions?
All right, Mr. Malone?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi? Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin, noting that we previously discussed
Yes.
abstaining.
Abstain on C in the row, yes.
Okay. Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Kids, recommend motion to approve harassment, intimidation, and bullying cases as per executive session. Can I have a motion? Second.
Second.
Any questions? No questions?
Mr. Malone?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi? Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Policies and procedures, recommend motion to approve policies and procedures items A through L. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Any questions? No questions?
Mr. Malone?
Yes.
Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
Ms. Januzzi? Dr. Gross?
Yes.
Mrs. Palin?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Moncrief?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Informational items, following items were presented for informational purposes, enrollments and attendance reports, health office reports, suspension reports, fire and emergency drill reports. Move on to public comment. The floor is now open to members of the public. Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express what each statement made by a participant limited to 3 minutes, as cited in policy 167. There's a sign-in sheet at the podium. Please sign in before you speak. Seeing no public comment, move on to board forum. Dr. Gross?
Certainly, as always, thanking all the volunteers. I think it highlights our township and its cooperation with the school. I want to congratulate the teachers of the year and support staff of the year. That's all I have today.
Ms. Payton?
Yes, I can't tell you, can you hear me? I can't tell you how encouraged I am to listen to Mrs. Riggleman's report, because when they started that collection of plastic program, nobody thought it was going to go anywhere. And the fact that we've accumulated this much way before April, when the deadline is amazing. And the enthusiasm of the kids is what I'm most surprised with, because if it doesn't start there, it's not going to happen. And we live in a community that's so dependent on keeping that stuff out of the bays, out of the harbors. We're a fishing community. People come here and live here for that purpose. And the fact that the kids are involved in this, I'm very, very elated to see that there's that much response, and very pleased. I think we're doing okay as a school district, but we can initiate that kind of behavior modification.
I agree with you, and I'm very pleased to see that there's so much participation. I myself bought reusable grocery bags, so kudos, it's great. I want to congratulate all the volunteers of the month from both schools. Thank you for being there for our students. I want to congratulate the GJM and the Frog Pond School Update sponsors, Daisy and Caden and Cesar, and just Cesar. And the students of the month, congratulations. Keep up the good work, and congratulations to the teachers of the year, the support staff, and the custodial staff.
Thank you. Mr. Gallia?
Yeah, to just
follow up on that, I'd like to thank the volunteers and congratulations to all the students of the month. And March 20th, I believe, is the first day of spring, so I'm almost out of here.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Zimmer.
I'd also like to thank the volunteers. The community coming together and giving back is really making an impact. I find it because I do, I'm with a lot of the children with the sports programs, and since I've learned about it, I've talked to them more about it, and it's definitely getting through, and it's a big help. And then I was thoroughly impressed once again this month by the public speaking abilities of our youngsters. Very nice, very nice.
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate the volunteers, the teacher of the year, support staff, and custodians, along with all the children that are here tonight. They did very well.
All right, thanks to everyone that came out tonight. Motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Beat me to that one.
No discussion on that?
None. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 6:36 p.m. Nicely done. One per 500.